Hello and greetings. My name is Shwa, and I am the host and founder of a podcast called Light Up with Shwa. It's a weekly podcast on conscious living and parenting. I have a very special guest today. So she is sitting in Seattle. Hello, Sheila. Please,
Hello, Shwa.
please introduce
Yes.
yourself.
So it's Sheila is my first name. Delaney Duke is my last name. So Sheila Delaney being the good Irish name on my side, and I married into a Duke. And I am probably the simplest way to describe what I do now is that I'm a coach. And so I am a coach that is very much about elevating the human experience. And so that is true for individuals, that's true for women, and I run women's programs to that end. But I also do it in organizations and corporations. So I do a lot of coaching with physicians, with the C-suite in organizations. I do retreat facilitation and a lot of speaking on this subject. And it's really fun for me. The magic is really in being able to help people to access a broader range of their internal resources and help them to be amazed by their own resourcefulness, their own resilience. Um, it's so easy to forget. I think this world would have us forget who we are. And I say no. So
Okay.
I won't have it.
All right. You're a parent.
I am.
Okay. And
I
you
have two
have,
daughters,
okay. And,
12 and 15.
okay. So, what is your experience as a parent?
Mm. It is the most profoundly, deeply soulful, humbling experience,
Mhm.
the most sacred initiation, the most profound mirror and reflection of my being in the world as I'm confronted with the ways that I parent what I would call well and also not well.
Okay, so you do identify that. You
Oh,
recognize that.
absolutely.
Oh,
Absolutely.
okay, okay. You're not
Yeah,
a perfect parent?
Oh, yeah. No.
No? Okay. Is
I
there
aspire.
such a thing as perfect parent?
No.
Okay.
My favorite joke has become I lost my Parent of the Year award again.
Oh,
And to date I've not received it. So, but it's a delight and a wonder and exhausting and exhilarating and traumatizing and empowering and enabling and destroying. It's all the things. I think there is,
well,
which is
that's
why I
interesting.
think of it as such a sacred initiation.
Mm,
That's
nice.
probably my favorite way of thinking of it
Very
for them
nice.
and for me.
So there are times that you enjoy it, and there are times that are challenging, right?
Yes.
Okay. It's just
Usually
to.
that has to do with a carpool.
Ooh, okay. Okay. But yeah, no, no. Uh, Was it a conscious decision to become a parent?
Yeah,
Or
it was a very conscious decision. And it's interesting because my husband and I, when we were married 2 weeks before I started law school in Canada, actually in Calgary. And at that time, Shwa, it was interesting. I was so determined that I was going to do this big, successful woman legal track. And, I got the job at this super cool law firm that's multinational. And
hmm.
so I had a conversation with my husband before we were married. And I said, are you going to be okay if I decide I don't want to have kids? And he said, well, and we talked about it a little bit. And we kind of ended up with a wishy-washy answer. But he said, I'd be willing to discuss that.
Oh, wow.
So we got married. And I made sure I kept that door open. That if I really got excited about what I was doing in my life,
Hmm.
that there might be other ways we could bless and be of service into the world if we didn't have kids. And we did wait. So I finished law school and then he did an MBA and we relocated to the States. And so it was a good 7 years. Well, it was about 5 years it came up again. And honestly, it made me laugh at myself prior because it was so just about me being non-committal. Like,
Hmm.
as long as you're not locking me into a role of the typical wife with the typical kid, right?
Okay.
It was
That's what you were afraid of.
that's
Yeah,
exactly
exactly.
right.
Hmm.
In my heart of hearts, I know I always wanted children. And so as we came back around, it was almost, he chuckled. I'm sure he knew this about me more than I had a line of sight to it. He's like, yeah, I'm good. so,
So he
so we
knew
went,
he didn't want to be too much like, oh, okay, if you don't want to have kids, I'm not gonna get married or not. So he was marrying you for you, not for any other reasons. I think that is the most beautiful thing because then everything can be accomplished.
Yes.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. And then we were very fortunate, very, very blessed. I know in this world where I have so many dear friends who had such a hard time. We became pregnant right away. I loved being pregnant. It is probably my favorite time of my whole life. And so I felt like I was really developing this experience with this soul that I was going to have the privilege of being a steward of for a period of time. And so at the time, I had 13 months I was working in an organization while I was moving into coaching and opening my practice. And I would sing to her the whole 50-minute commute in my belly, and we would just
So you
commune.
sing too? Are you a
Oh,
singer?
no,
Not
no,
that type of,
no.
not a professional singer, are you? Okay, okay, okay. Just singing to your child.
Right. I stumble through singing for my children. Yes.
Okay, that's
And
nice.
and it was so fun to reconnect to that part of me. And then when she was 2, we decided to try for the second. And again, we were blessed to not struggle with that. And so it came very quickly. And my eldest, we were standing in line in a grocery line one day, and she doesn't so much talk to strangers. She's quite an introvert. And she turned around to the lady behind us and put her hand on my belly, and she said, "My mom has a baby Emily in her tummy." And I remember I was like, "Honey, it might not be a girl." And I'm having all these things. She's like, "Mom, it's a baby Emily."
Oh,
And
wow. What a
so
confidence.
it really was. And so when it came to it,
Hmm.
and we
That's
found out it
interesting.
was a girl, I trusted that she knew something we didn't. And so we named this second daughter Emily.
Okay.
And we all laughed. I thought, this kid needs a wide open field.
Ah,
And so we moved her into soccer. And so she is
she
our
like that?
fierce, competitive,
Oh, nice.
aggressive,
Nice.
athletic. Yeah. So she plays
Mhm.
high level soccer with a really wonderful team. And so this is the first year she's playing at a level where we're now traveling. So we're to California, we're to Texas, we're to, so back to the things that make parenting hard, but also deeply joyful. They've both found their thing,
That's good.
and
That's important.
it
Mm.
is. And so they get to support each other,
Mm.
but also get in each other's faces about it
Mm.
in what I would say is a healthy way.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, that's
as
what's
styles show
important.
up.
Yeah. Yeah.
I believe that at that time, in my mid 20s, late 20s, I was sorting through what it means to be a feminist.
Okay.
I was sorting through what it means to be the daughter of an immigrant mother and my grandmother. They came to Canada when my mother was, I want to say 16, 17 in there. And so she had me very, very young. They were married young, had me young. And I know, although she would never have uttered a word, it would have been interesting to see. My mom's a genius. Like, she is a math major. She's got such a sharp, fine mind and a beautiful sense of humor. And she's done a lot. She still works on boards, and she works a lot in refugee placement and travels all over doing this. And there are small things she said over time that caused me to really wonder, what is it to be a woman and to be a fierce woman? Because I already knew I had a lot of fire that just came with me. And so I wanted the option. So when I was in that place of, what if I don't want to have kids? It was about preserving my right to choose.
What does it mean?
So white passing just means that as I walk down the street, I carry the privilege of my whiteness every place that I go. People wouldn't know. And so particularly because I did my undergraduate degree in Southern Louisiana, which was a huge eye-opener to go to the Deep South.
Yes.
As a Canadian, white passing, biracial, who grew up in an English second language area. There were so many immigrants around us in where I went to my elementary school. To go to this place where there was such a split. It was so white and black. And I was so confused. I thought I had stepped into a novel, and sometimes it felt like a trick. It was a very strange experience. People would have conversations about, oh, those poor biracial kids, they're never going to know who they are, and nobody's going to accept them. And, I'd engage in the conversation. I'd try to stay curious. That was I'd say, if I had a soul journey down there, it was how to stay open to the human behind the words as they're going through their journey. She was such a matriarch.
Yes.
The sidewalk would part,
Yes.
and people would bow.
That's very cultural. That's very
Very
cultural
cultural.
in Asian, East Asian. Yes,
Yes, it was beautiful.
yes.
So I'd have that. So I had these very
Oh,
unique, distinct experiences. Um, um,
I don't know if this
oh,
question just came up.
there's so much there. So let me just feel
Yes,
into
yes.
um, the first thing that comes up, Shwa, is to remember that we are all what we share in common. Absolutely, is our Mother Earth, right? Her care, like it's as in a cause in common. And I feel that while I could go to my outrage and that outrage could be polarizing, I think there is a place for righteous rage that unifies us.
Righteous
You
rage
know,
is important. Yep,
that it is righteous, that is not self-righteous,
yep.
but that it is. I have friends who will say I'm colorblind, and these are people I have great love for, and I say, but you're stripping somebody of their humanity, like of some really essential part of who they are. I'm like, the American women I know don't want to be grayed out, right? I can't imagine you want to be grayed out. My mama has no interest in being grayed out. And that doesn't make sense to me. So I guess all of that to say, if there's a hopeful place that can help with that polarization, it might be to say that to take a position on this might be the right thing to do. Head in the back.
Nice. Thank you.
Mm.
Can you tell people what is a healthy, fulfilling life you are in?
I can't believe I get to do the work that I do.
Really?
It really, I mean, I enjoyed the law because I enjoyed the intellect of it. Love being surrounded by really smart people, doing really interesting work. But I really love being able to have a front row seat to somebody's human experience and their evolution and their transformation. And so whether I'm doing that one-on-one or whether it's, through a women's program that I lead and watching the women come together in a kind of sisterhood experience where women begin to witness other women, there's something potent and magical that happens.
All right. What is the value of gratitude in your life? Do you believe in afterlife?
I do.
Yes. And have you found the purpose in your life? Sheila, what is it?
I can say yes.
Okay, good.
Yes.
Any message of hope? I know you gave some before, but I want you to give as many as you can.
Thank you.
My last question. What lights you up, Sheila? Well, it's really nice to have you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Shwa. And thank you for your medicine in the world to bring this level of genuine, honest, open conversation. I think that's one of the things that'll heal the world, right? If we don't look away. Just not looking away is so potent. And then to engage in a rich conversation and a dialogue that's so open-hearted, which I think is what you bring, that makes it really easy to meet you there, is it's good medicine.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And you do it all the time, I guess, with your work, with your coaching.
I aspire
right?
to. Yeah, I do. And it's a good calling.
Nice.
It's better than the law for me.
Yeah.